Honey Von Bunny and Berries and Cream with a podcast about smutty trash they read. Sad housewife? Lonely freak? Check it out, fucking fairies, wouldn't that be neat? Charge your phone and your toys full battery. Close your blinds, it's fine, no one has to see. Run yourself a bath, get some candles lit. Lie back, relax, this is APClit.
Oh yeah, are we gonna use the APClit Merriam-Webster defines a podcast?
Oh yeah, do you want to read that?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to read that? I'll read that.
Could you read that? That would be wonderful if you could.
Okay.
There's some nice calming music come in too, editor.
Yeah, would you just put some calming music in here? Something real sexual.
Yeah.
But understated, classy.
Yeah, classy, but sexual, but also kind of just like...
But also like chill, but then also like a little bit like not chill, like upbeat, but like chill. And like complicated, but also simple.
But not too simple that it's charlatan.
Really, we don't ask much of him.
Yeah.
Merriam-Webster defines a podcast as a program as of music or talk, made available in digital format for automatic download over the internet. This makes for the perfect format for two Z-list micro-niche internet celebrities to collaborate and create the ultimate cash grab. Why not exploit our humble followers for attention and notoriety? APClit will be an immersive, yet polarizing experience for unhappily married moms and terminally online freaks alike. Tune in for an unhinged review of the finest slop that Wattpad, Kindle Unlimited, and the dollar bin outside the Barnes & Noble has to offer.
That was really good. So, Z-list micro-niche internet celebrities, though?
Yeah?
Yeah? Is that what we are?
Did I fuck it up?
No.
I would say so.
Well...
I mean, I think you might be more of like a T-list, but I'm definitely Z-list.
What's a T-list?
So there's like A-list, B-list, C-list, and then with your followers, I'd say you're like T-list.
I'm kind of up there, yeah.
Love that. Fucking bitch. Are you using... Did you just use that as a fucking opportunity for me to compliment? Go fuck yourself.
You know, like, I'm kind of a big deal if you look at my following.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
I'm gonna snap your neck.
No. Wait.
I fucking hate you.
Fucking snapped.
Okay, Miss fucking A-list micro-niche celebrity, would you like to introduce yourself, or do I have to do that for you too?
I would prefer if you actually introduced me as the queen that I am.
Okay, well, so this is a dumb whore. She's dumb.
Actually.
She's a whore.
Actually.
Huh?
I'm Bunny. I'm Honey.
Oh, is that so?
Honey Von Bunny.
Yeah.
And that's my whole personality. I'm Honey Von Bunny.
And for those of you who don't know this Z-list micro-niche internet celebrity, I am Berries and Cream, and I have a sore throat.
Yeah.
Mostly from having to fucking suck this bitch's dick.
It's very big.
For the past 5 minutes.
It's been like 5 hours. To try to get me in here to be like, all right, bitch, we're gonna do this now.
And then you fucking decide that you're gonna fucking neg me and provoke me.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
It's okay, baby. It's
okay,
fine.
thank you. Thank you, Mama.
So would you like to do me a favor and explain how exactly we got here to this very moment?
This very moment?
Yes, as in how we started reading these books and how we became better friends and then decided to make a podcast. You know, the usual first episode bit.
Okay, well, we somehow have to thank book Instagram for this, but like book girly Instagram, because I started getting all these recommendations for these books and I'm like, oh, I like to read. And I saw this series called ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and the bitches were fucking gagged for it. Like, I cannot tell you.
They wanted to be gagged for it.
Yeah, Jesus. The amount of like reels I would get, I don't know. They were like, my CIA agent or something was like honed in on me and was like brainwashing me to read this shit. It's like a virus.
It's really funny because I was like trying to find, because you kept sending me all these fucking reels about this book, and I was trying to find ones to send back to you, and I couldn't fucking find any for the life of me. And then like yesterday, all of a sudden I got recommended like 10 of them at once.
Yeah, I liked one of them because I was like, oh, this looks like a good series. And then it just bombarded me. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll just buy the book and we'll see how it goes. So then I reached out to you because I was like, oh yeah, I think Barry reads like stuff like this.
Why did you think because I've never once discussed my like literature faves. Like I typically do not talk about anything like that. I do not.
I have no idea.
Most people know that I sew, and that's pretty much all they know about me.
You gave a vibe, and the vibe was, oh, this bitch reads smut, so.
Oh, this bitch is smart. Oh, not smart. Okay.
No, smut, not smart. This bitch.
Why would I ever think you would say something nice to me?
But that was my thought process. I don't know why. I was like, she seems like the kind of girl that would read.
Yeah, because we've been following each other for like a year, 2 years, more than that probably. I think you were following me for like my first zine because I asked you to participate in it. So that was probably like, it's been a couple years now, and we've never really like talked to each other.
Yeah, and that was also a very cute zine, by the way. I have
Thank you.
I have it on my bookshelf. Yeah.
I noticed you didn't buy the other ones.
Fuck. Why are you putting me on the spot like this? Can I blame Twitter's algorithm for that? I didn't see them. What are you talking about? It's just the one sign. Oh shit. Anyway, we're talking about this book series, and I just thought, hey, maybe it'd be nice if like I had somebody else read it with me. So I had this whole like concept of like, oh, this is gonna be a villain gets a girl kind of series. We're gonna have fantasy. We're gonna have a bunch of.
Well, I mean, I didn't think it was gonna. I had no idea about the whole villain getting the girl. You were just like, would you like to read this book? Like, I just, the book girlies on TikTok have been captivated by this book. It has a chokehold on my Instagram feed. Would you like? Have you read it? I'm not sure if I want to buy it. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? Let's both read this book. It'll be fun. Because I honestly, my experience with like smut novels is like the free. You ever like see those like public like those like little library house things where it's like someone makes a fucking house and then puts books in it.
Yeah.
And it's like a free library. My experience is like being a little kid, loving to read, going to those libraries all the time, and them all just being filled with the filthiest smut you can imagine. So just being like 10 years old and like reading these books and being like, what the fuck?
Jesus.
This is weird. But not having anything else to read. So I've read my fair share of just disgusting slop. And it's been a while since I'd read one of those, and I was like, you know what? It'll be fun. I'll be nostalgic.
Well, you know, can I
like
be
those guys that collect Funko Pops and retro video games.
a little bit of whimsy in your life, you know? But to be quite candid, this is actually the first smut book I've ever read. If
you read, but I don't think that count. You read so much. Don't you read a bunch of like smut not lit, but smut manga?
Yeah, but that's different. Like, I'm better.
How is that not different?
I'm better than everyone else.
You're worse.
Because it has pictures.
If anything, you're worse. It takes less. It takes so much less work to read a fucking manga that's dick and pussy. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't get it. It's a culture.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't understand.
It's a refined culture. But yeah, it's my first like smut book.
Did you know they read different?
Oh my god.
I have to. If anything, reading a smut manga is better than reading an actual book because you have to read the opposite way.
Yeah,
it takes more concentration and brain power.
You read backwards. So that makes it that I'm better.
Backwards,
yeah.
fucking idiot.
Yeah, I'm actually better than everyone, just because of that. But anyway. Oh shit. Where was I going with this? We were talking about.
You were saying that this is your first fucking smut book, and I called you a liar.
Yeah. Well, okay, but that's not that. It is. It's the first time I've read the words on a piece of paper like this. It's the first time in the past 10 years you've read a book that didn't have pictures in it. Okay, continue. Yes. Okay. Actually, unironically, kind of true, but So I get the book and I'm like, okay, bitch, we're gonna read this, and we start off, and yeah, I have some notes just to kind of I guess flow so we can talk about what the stupid fucking series is. Disclaimer: we're gonna bitch a lot.
Oh yeah, because so we pick up this book. And then we both bought the entire series, and we've been like, for the past like month and a half-ish, right? I'd say it's been, it feels like it's been a fucking year with how awful the end of book 3 and how awful the book 4 were.
Yeah.
Absolute slog.
Yeah, absolute fucking slop.
We've just been reading this and then coming together every day and being like, bitch, how far in are you?
Yeah.
And then talking about it.
Yeah.
And we've been doing that for a while, so we just kind of decided to try recording it.
Yeah, it's a mind virus.
Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, it's a mind virus. That this author, she's one.
Bad.
Yeah. Like, I went into this, to be fair, I went into this thinking that it was going to be toxic. It was going to be like a dark fantasy romance, kind of like kind of Grim Tales,
exactly. Everything like you want.
Yeah, and then I get like rainbows and butterflies, and there's a little bit of trauma, but mostly it's just 60% nothing's happening. It's a weird ride. It's a bumpy. It's like being on a wooden roller coaster. It's like you want off as soon as possible.
What I have to say about A Court of Thorns and Roses, something I've noticed with like books and with webtoons and web novels and stuff recently, is that people make these woe is me, like the entire world's against me, my family hates me, overly dramatic, unrealistic, like torture porn. That Miss Author over here is just like rubbing her clit to the misfortunes of this poor girl that she's putting her through to like validate some neglect that she experienced as a child or something. So that it's like so that we immediately care about this character, even though it's like you're just kind of like, I was just like reading it and I was like rolling my fucking eyes.
It's like a show don't tell situation where she could have very much have done that instead of explaining like, my name is Farah and we're poor now and we live out in a cabin because my dad lost his fortune and my mom's dead and my 2 sisters are useless. It's like, you could just show us that. And she's very like, oh, I had to learn to hunt and do this and that, and I think it would have been more.
And nobody helps me.
Yeah.
Nobody lifts a finger to help me. Ever.
Wait, to be fair, there are some situations where I think, oh yeah, that could have been nice. Like, for example, Farah and her 2 sisters, Elaine and Nesta. Elaine loves flowers and she wants to plant these gardens, but it's like, you didn't think to do
plant
some vegetables. Yeah, like, it's like, why are you not? She
has a fucking garden and she doesn't plant anything in it. What a fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's just like all flowers.
Nobody suggests that to her.
Yeah. It's like you can't even use the excuses like, oh, well, vegetable seeds are probably a lot more expensive, but it's like, well, she's spending money on flower seeds. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And Nesta, like, she can do no wrong in my eyes, but she's like a total bitch. the first
Nesta's a
book.
BPD queen.
Yeah, she's the absolute BPD queen.
The way that they're written, so like I feel like book 1, I don't think she had the plan, like from like book 1 to book 5, like I don't think she had that planned like at all. Because in book 1, Nesta is like just this like cruel ice queen who just cares about money and status, and she's just like definition like awful human being.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a shred or ounce of love for her sister. Would rather let Feyre die
Yeah.
than, oh, by the way, she's the youngest and Nesta's the
19.
oldest.
I think
So
it's
she's like, oh, I'd rather risk your life and make sure that my other sister is like more taken care of, and me. And like how greedy they were, like she would get any money and like all of us, they'd be like whimpering to take her money so that they could go spend it on bullshit.
Yeah, like Nesta's like, I want a new pair of boots. And it's like, girl, we're starving.
Girl, we're starving.
Yeah.
Girl, look at like anything else in this house. And then all of a sudden we're supposed to like, in the later books, we're supposed to care about her as like an integral character. They do this like whole redemption arc for her after she's already made herself irredeemable.
Yeah.
Like by most of the people, most of the standards of like I'm pretty sure Tamlin, who's like the main love interest in book 1, wanted to like kill her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so did Reese. Reese also wanted to kill her, and so did Lucian.
Everybody. And it's just
Everybody
like,
pretty much wanted to get, like fucking kill her.
yeah, so they have to make this whole extravagant story about how like the reasons why, which that's a whole other book. It doesn't even go into this. Like
The 13 reasons why.
Yeah.
My 13 reasons why Nesta is actually baby girl.
Yeah.
And misunderstood, and actually she cares so much.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, I love Nesta. But
Nesta's a BBD queen.
Yeah,
Honestly, if they
BBD
just
queen.
made her unapologetically an awful person, I feel like she would have been a better character.
I think she's more interesting than Feyre, though.
She's so boring.
Yeah. Feyre's very boring. She's very...
And this author tries.
Yeah.
This author tries so hard. This author gives her a hobby.
a very hipster hobby.
Very dumb fucking hobby. Are you kidding me? Like, I hate it. It's the same thing when it's like on TV shows where they'll have like a character who's like an artist, or a character that's like into fashion. And then they're just like, they just have the fucking interns on the set and they're just like, oh, can you do me a favor? Can you just like make a costume real quick? And then have like no design direction. It was like, it doesn't matter what it is. We just need something artsy on the screen.
Yeah.
And then like, just like super inconsistent, awful, mediocre art or sewing things. Like, I'd say like the only like character to ever be interested in fashion that was like represented in a way that was like interesting and fun was in Wizards of Waverly Place. I can't remember what her name was.
I've never
that
seen...
That bitch had outfits.
Yeah, that's like kind of past my time when it came to Disney, so I'm not really sure.
How much older are you than me? Like,
about 7, I want to say. 7 years,
yeah,
maybe.
that gap of
That's a pretty big, difference in media.
I got a big gap for you, bro.
Oh God, big gap. Yeah, girl, you do. Interesting.
It's just it's just a art that's made by people that aren't artists.
Yeah.
So like, she's like, it would be like if I tried to write a book about a fucking auto mechanic, or like a bitch writing about I'm gonna just bitch about lessons in chemistry real quick.
Oh, God.
Bitch writing about a fucking chemist.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know, like, you know, like very basic terms.
Yeah,
but,
right.
like, you have no passion for it.
Yeah.
And like no experience in it, so like you're just like
It's
writing. You can smell the bullshit from a mile away.
Yeah, it's a situation where it's like you want to write about what you know, and she does not know about art, and if she does, oops.
Shame on her.
Yeah. Because, okay, the whole thing with Feyre wanting to paint, it's like, all right, I get it. Everyone needs like their whole hyperfixation for your character. Like, that's what they're known. And she couldn't have it be reading because this bitch doesn't know how to read.
Yeah, this book one at the end of it becomes her not knowing how to read is probably the most important thing about her character at the end.
Which is really hilarious to me, and it actually made me kind of root for her a bit, because I was like, this bitch can't read, let's go.
Well, the reason why I think that she was like made illiterate and her big thing being about painting is because this author was just like, let's make Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
But about fairies, and it's smutty.
Yeah. Which,
so
not even that much smut,
instead of honestly, I feel like we were very much misled by the book talk girlies. Sorry,
I think
I'm
we were
gonna say
too
it right now. They
Yeah.
betrayed us on this one.
Yeah. So what I thought I was
We got
getting,
like 2 sex scenes in one book.
yeah, I thought
One whole book.
what I was getting was smut with fantasy, but I was getting fantasy with smut and not much of it.
I wouldn't even say.
Yeah.
Like, it would be like, I'd say it has like the same amount of smut as like a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, I would say that too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 1 sex scene, 2 sex scenes, where it's like not super descriptive.
Yeah. It's like,
They dangle all of this like fucking sexual tension and like heat, and then there's just like and then he sheathed himself in me and we're done.
I love we skipped all the way. Being like,
I love that we skipped through me talking about her painting to me talking about her getting fucked.
yeah, that's,
About him painting her insides with his comb.
Oh, Jesus.
So clearly this book is just Beauty and the Beast, but with fairies.
Yeah, it's
and
literally.
she wanted to make it a little different. So it's like, you know, instead of her being big on reading, she's big on painting. But the thing about like art and painting is that it's like very, like, it's hard to like describe a painting.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? In an interesting way.
Yeah, like the way Feyre does it is she'll see a scene like playing out in front of her, and she'd be like, if I was painting
There is
this,
a man.
Yeah, if I was painting this right now, I would name it "Man Having an Argument." And it's like, okay, girl, you know, do your best, I guess, go for it, but.
Just like the most bland description and then a stupid title, and then we're supposed to like give a shit.
Yeah. Or, if I could paint this right now, I would call this a court of silver flames. And it's like, what does that mean? There's no description. And I get it. I guess it is kind of hard to relay that in a writing style without getting too wordy too, I guess. But even then.
Yeah, because like when they describe her being a painter, they're like talking about how she one time got some paints and she was like painting on the walls and stuff. And I'm like, bitch is just a third-rate artist with a fourth-rate brush. Like, well, just being like, oh, I painted our dresser to have flowers in the sky and flames on it.
And
it's
then
like,
the
wow,
midnight.
that sounds. But honestly, her description of her little paintings read to me like an adult's like deviant art from when they were like 15 or 12.
Yeah, because it's also kind of like, well, who does that? Who draws on their dressers and goes, well, I'll do flowers for this one because that's Elaine. And then, did she do the fire for Nesta, or was that for her? I can't even remember.
Yeah, for Nesta.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then she got the night sky.
Yeah, and the night sky, which, oh, spoiler alert, the night sky.
Don't stop fiddling your skittle.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that, baby.
We should probably rewind back to what we were talking about. The sisters, they're bitchy.
Well, I was just trying to, yeah. Well, I was gonna finish my thought about it being just Beauty and the Beast, because then she gets kidnapped by the Beast.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Which,
she...
real quick, when she described the Beast, were you able to even, like, imagine what he looked like?
No, none of the time. Like, he's been described several times, and I remember he has green eyes and yellow fur, and he has,
Ram
like, honestly,
horns,
just keep...
I think. Like...
I don't even remember the horns. I just remember that he has claws.
Yeah.
Claws, yellow fur, green eyes. I honestly kept picturing a Furby. Or like a lion, like just a lion.
Yeah, I was imagining like a big wolf because like I just couldn't. I felt like I got several different descriptions, and maybe I'm wrong and I'm just remembering it incorrectly, but like every time it felt like he looked different. So I was just like, whatever, he's a giant wolf now. So that's kind of...
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, it's a beast. It's like, we get it. All right, beast. So,
She was out hunting. She killed a fairy.
yeah, that was disguised as a wolf.
Yes, and then Tamlin, which is going to be our beast, comes in and he's like, you have to come with me because actually you violated the treaty, and if you don't come with me, I'm gonna have to kill you.
It's like,
you have to like take his place and live in the fairy realm for the rest of your life. Which is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot to process.
It kind of just beat for beat follows it, because then she goes in, she hates him, she doesn't like him, and then she starts warming up to him, and then he's like, I you like painting? Here's a gallery that I have in my house.
It was a whole lot of nothing happening. It was pretty much...
We have stupid masquerade masks on.
Yeah, that can't come off because
that can't come off because of a curse.
Yeah. Instead of the rose and the beast and whatever, it's so we have these masquerade orgy masks, and that's...
Yeah, how ugly we are wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, I've seen like most masquerade masks, and especially the way that they were described, they don't seem like they're covering that much. She's like, I just picture what he would look like without it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not that hard. You can see his eyes. It's like you can see all of it.
Barry, it's like God,
not that much different.
I hope this...
It's like Clark Kent taking off his fucking glasses. Like, oh my God, it's Superman.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I really hope this guy that has a nice chiseled jaw and like pecs and like
handsome,
has long blonde hair, is like a handsome man under this mask. It's like, okay, well,
I'm not
maybe
into long blonde hair. I'm not into long blonde hair. I don't like. I'm not a big fan of like light hair.
I'm not either, but I think it's the characters that I'm attached to that have the hair, because I've noticed there is a pattern where I'll like lighter haired characters. Yeah, because
I keep imagining him being like
Fabio,
or like a Barbie doll.
Yeah,
it
was kind of hard for me to vibe with that too, and that's when I knew I was like, oh God, I hope this isn't like the guy, because it's really...
Yeah.
I'm just not interested in him at all. He's not very interesting.
So boring.
Yeah, he's super boring.
Honestly, they didn't get interesting until
60%.
Until Amarantha gets in.
Yeah, Jesus. That's a whole
thing. No, he did get interesting before Amarantha. Remember that one festival thing?
The fire festival that they have?
Yeah, the fire festival.
Yeah.
There's a festival. So there are different courts, and they're based off of seasons, and there's like spring, summer, winter, and autumn, and then there are 3 other courts that are dawn, day, and night.
Yeah, which is dumb. That seems like too much.
It's so stupid. So for the spring court, there's like this big festival that'll happen, and it's like and it's a fertility festival.
Yeah.
So you can probably guess what happens at this festival.
Yeah, and Tamlin's like, don't leave the room. You're not allowed to leave the room when this
You're not allowed to leave the room. You have to stay in your room. Don't let me in. Set up traps, protect yourself. It doesn't really explain it.
Yeah.
And then this bitch sneaks out.
It's like, why not?
She sneaks out.
Why not tell her? That's another thing I have an issue with. Where it's like, I understand that, okay, there's a wall that separates the Fae from the humans. And I get that the humans know the Faes exist and vice versa. But, like, they don't know anything about what's going on over there. They don't know their cultures or anything. He doesn't...
Well, because there's been a wall up for 500 years.
Yeah,
How are they supposed to know anything?
You would think if... Let's say I'm a fucking fairy, and I bring over this human.
Yeah, you're a little fairy.
Yeah, I'm a little fucking fairy. And I bring this human...
Going to the gay bar after this?
Yeah. But... just bring this human over and just like don't tell her anything. it's like, why not like explain why? Because she's obviously
She can't read. How are they supposed to teach her anything?
Oh my god. Yeah, she can't read. She doesn't know how to follow directions. It's like, well, if you give her like a concept of how dangerous it would be, maybe she would stay in instead of peeking her nose in. And
she knows that fairies are dangerous. Obviously, she's been like taught since she was.
Not
they've
enough.
all been taught since they were like. Obviously not enough, but she has been. I think that's proof that telling her anything or trying to teach her anything was kind of a waste of time.
I guess you're right.
You know, she was curiosity killed the cat here, so she's just like, oh, I'm gonna sneak out on this festival.
I mean, I guess that's the point too. Is she is supposed to be? She's young. She's 19. She's dumb. And
this is before she's seen the kibbles and bits and experienced it.
Yeah.
So she's all of a sudden, like 2 chapters prior, they make weird sexual tension between them. Because before, she just like completely ignored him and hated him.
Yeah.
And then with the flip of a fucking switch, she's like, ooh, mommy. Mommy Tamlin.
Mommy Tamlin.
And so she's curious. She wants to go to this festival. So she sneaks out. She almost gets fucking raped by these other fairies because they immediately are like, you're a human.
Yeah.
And then the ultimate baby girl comes out of the shadows.
How did you... Okay, wait. When you read his name, how did you read it?
Rysand.
I did too.
I know they have like stupid... I also heard that there's like different ways. Like it's like... His name isn't Lucian, it's Lucian. Or like... Basically the way that a lot of these names... His name is supposed to be said as Rysand.
Rysand.
And not Rysand.
Yeah.
Even like she doesn't like phonetically, like she doesn't spell these words in ways that are they're hard to pronounce, okay? So just say whatever you want in your head. We've been calling them names like Reese's Pieces and Fryer.
Tamlin's
and, Tampon and Lucille Ball. Like we just kind of just... That's what I do, because I'm terrible at remembering names, so I just make up names.
Well, you know, with this series, the names is kind of... I'm not vibing with them.
I don't like them. They're stupid.
Yeah, I'm not. More. Okay.
More. I fucking...
Why not just call her Morgan?
She's a conversation.
Yeah.
She's a conversation for another time.
She's a whole episode, honestly. But yeah, so...
She goes into the fairy festival to meet ultimate BBG.
Yeah, BBG.
Reese.
Yeah,
Rysand.
Reese.
Rysand.
And in that moment when I read it, I went, oh, he's it. He's the one. He's going to be our guy.
Yeah, I remember you messaging me being like, ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, no, because
I was like, ooh.
So to be like transparent, I had read that this book was supposed to be a whole bad guy gets the girl situation.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so
I was just like so bored and being like, God, she's gonna end up with this milquetoast idiot.
Yeah. So I kind of had a concept of, okay, well, I have something to look forward to, and I genuinely thought it was gonna be a cucking situation. Like the way that things were going, I was just like, oh shit. Like, I wasn't expecting it to feel that.
Would you like to describe your type in men?
My type in men?
Fictional men.
And fictional, yes, fictional, 100%. Disclaimer: fictional men, not real men.
Not real men.
I actually was talking to a friend the other day about that because she wanted to know what my vibe was when it came to like the romantic,
horny books.
Yeah, and
smut, pornography.
I like to bring up. This is gonna sound really bad. When it comes to like your character where you're like, yeah, totally would. I really liked Ramsay from Game of Thrones.
But you like toxicity, you like unhinged, you like Stockholm
a literal
syndrome.
Psychopath,
you like,
pretty much.
Yes. Yeah. You want a yandere.
Yeah. Just absolute insane person. Because that's the most fun to read. Like,
exactly.
Why would I read about a healthy,
because it's just fun
happy,
for you to read.
Green flag relationship? It's like, I already have that.
Yeah, when you're already in one.
Yeah, I don't like. It's like that's my reality. So Not to flex on anybody.
You want what you don't have. You want abuse.
Yeah, that's...
and he definitely does not have a knife to her throat while she's at the microphone so that she says exactly what he wants her to say. Exactly. I promise.
100%, yeah.
She's saying this 100% of her own will. I promise.
My own free will. I wasn't, I don't...
coerced or threatened into saying these things.
I'm not reading from a cue card. I promise.
Okay, so you like toxic men, you like you like bad boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he comes on and he's like, exactly, like both of us were just like, whoo.
Yeah, we're like, oh,
we like you.
It was like, here we go. It's starting. It's happening. Like, and
I was immediately like interested because
Yeah.
he was like, do you want to come with me? He was trying to get her away from the party. So I'm like, this is gonna get interesting.
Yeah. And he saved her from like these really creepy fae. And he's just like, okay, it's giving Howl's Moving Castle. Like,
yeah.
The first, like, the minute that Howl
I was
and Sophie...
expecting her to like, with villains, because this was gonna be smut, so I was expecting him to like kidnap and have his way with her, kind of. That's what I was expecting to happen, but that's not what happened.
Yeah, not even close to what happened.
Yeah, he just like kind of looks at her and then leaves.
Yeah, and he's just kind of like, oh yeah, saved you, whatever. And I think he even says something that sounds like it was straight out of Howl's Moving Castle, where he's like, oh, there you are, darling. And it's like, oh, I was like,
I've been looking for you.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, that's amazing. If you can't see, I'm
were just like interested.
Whew. It's like, can I get a fan? Like, I was like immediately locked
this is
in.
like a maybe 2 pages. This is like a maybe 1 page, 2 page interaction, and this bitch was locked on.
Yeah, I was like sweating.
Her target.
I was like
her
ready.
Target was sighted.
Yeah, so I was like super hyped.
This is a fertility festival.
Yeah.
Which she isn't aware of at the time. So that means that Tamlin, he takes some kind of a potion and then he gets really horny.
He gets a horny potion.
And then he's supposed to go have sex with somebody. So he's like super attracted to her right now.
Yeah, and I think that what they do is they choose people. Like, they're like, all right, these are the women.
It's like random.
Yeah.
It's like random instinct. So like there'll just be like women around him and then he'll like pick one. So the reason he didn't want her to be there was because he can't control himself when he like I was so disappointed here because he's uncontrollably horny and he's like fully to his like most base animalistic desires. So you hear that and you're like, oh, I can probably pick what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
does not happen.
He's literally like smelling her everywhere in the air trying to find her, and it's just like, oh wow, this is exciting. Like, what is this dude gonna do? Like, this is gonna be crazy.
Right?
I'm gonna read some crazy shit, and the most we get out of it is Feyre gets back to the castle or the estate or whatever it is because Rhys saved her and she's like, I gotta get out of here. She's going back to her room, and then Tampon shows up and he like has her up against the wall and is all like, oh, I want to fuck you.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna.
Like, I had to be. He was like, I had sex with a random woman and it was really rough. And then he was like, and then he whispered in her ear, he was like, but I would have been gentle with you.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, explosions. Like, if he kept that energy, I would have been fine with Tampon.
Yeah, honestly, if he continued just with that energy, because he's still like riding, he's like coming down from it, but he's still on it. Like, they would have made this book so much better if he just found her when he was on that potion or whatever. Yeah. And honestly, it would have been pretty interesting to read.
Yeah. And like right after that, I went blank. Like I don't remember much else happening. Like it was
eventually they do have sex for the first time.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's the point. Oh, now I remember. So, because you said that, the next day, Rhys shows up and they're trying to hide Feyre from him, and he knows that she's there, and that like sparked.
I thought he didn't know.
I think
he figured it out.
Yeah, he figured it out.
He figured out that they was using a glamour on it.
Yeah, and he got like real pissed about it. And then he's like,
yeah, because Reese is the bad boy because
he's the villain.
So he's the villain because he's serving Amarantha, who's the big bad of this book.
Mm-hmm.
And Amarantha's in love with Tamlin and wants to marry him.
That makes it sound so innocent.
Yeah, but she's a villain.
Yeah.
So she wants to marry him and put a curse on him where if he can't find a human to fall in love with him in 50 years, then he has to go with her, basically, and be her slave.
Yeah, and shocking enough, we're on the 49th year.
We're on the 49th year, 364 fourth day,
yeah,
pretty much, yeah. So Reese goes there, and, you know, they're trying to hide her because they know that if Amarantha knows about her, then, well,
she'll, like, kill her.
Die.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she'll, like, kill Feyre, and Reese is, like, come to find out, kind of like Amarantha's right-hand man. And what happens? He says some crazy shit.
That there's like he was just like, well, maybe if you get on your knees and beg me, I won't tell her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then, like, that made me go, like, ugh. Like, he was like, Tamlin, don't do that. It's not very...
And then he did it, yeah. It was very baby girl of Reese to do, but not very baby girl of Tamlin to comply with.
Yeah, I was like, ugh, Tamlin, that's really beta. Like, no, don't do that.
It was really, it was honestly Reese doing that was like, ooh.
Yeah, it's like you flipped instantly, like, this Reese guy, okay. He's kind of a toxic daddy.
Is he single?
Yeah.
He sends her home, so this is the more of the through line of the whole Beauty and the Beast plot.
Yeah. Well, before that,
sends her back to her family.
Before it sends her home, they have that crazy goodbye sex. That wasn't even
they
crazy.
Have crazy.
It was like...
Yeah, that was the first time they had sex?
Yeah. And
oh my god, that was so bad.
It was like a paragraph, I think. There was no build
After
up.
an entire book of them like having glances at each other.
Having glances at each other, which, you know, I can get behind sexual tension, but when it's like a paragraph,
you gotta make it worth it.
Yeah.
You gotta make the sex worth it.
Yeah, it was extremely anticlimactic, and I don't know if that's what she wanted it to be because of later events, but it just, if you really want to make, like, the person that's reading this really care, make me like this couple too, you know? Like, make it kind of devastating that they have to be torn apart. It just didn't feel that way. So
then he sends her back to her family because he knows that Amarantha's gonna know about Faye and that they're gonna kill her.
Yeah.
She's back with her family.
They're all bitchy.
Tamlin made them rich again.
Yeah.
And they're still all terrible.
Yeah. They're all glamored too, into thinking that Dad got like a fortune. They found his boat because he was like a merchant before he lost his fortune, and that was a whole thing. And they're like, oh, we're rich now.
Honestly, I don't really understand what the whole like plot of them used to being rich is for, because it doesn't really it doesn't really feel very relevant to the rest of the plot. Like, I feel like we could have been focusing on other things.
Yeah. I think
they did that so that we would feel more bad for her, but it's like, okay, I get it, they're rich, we get it.
Yeah. I didn't get that either, because you could still have the same story and then be rich. It's just that maybe Feyre, I don't know, wandered into the forest one day and then, but
she goes back to her family and then finds out, because she gave a fake name to Reese.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was like, I'm not going to tell these people what my name is.
I forgot about that.
The name she gives is actually of one of her old friends. And when she finds out that her old friend's entire family got, like, massacred, and then that girl got kidnapped.
She got.
Yeah, she got got. She was like, okay, I gotta go back. I gotta save him. I love him. I don't want him to face this alone. I'm gonna save him and do whatever I can. I'm gonna go down fighting, basically.
Yeah, and so she goes back. Also, another, like, note, Nesta wasn't glamored, or she got out of the glamour, so she knows.
Oh
like,
no, because the reason why she got out of the glamour is because she's such a stone cold fucking bitch that it didn't work.
Yeah, that's actually so fucking like amazing. Actually, I kind of unironically liked that. I was just like, wow, this bitch is so hateful that you can't even, like, she can break a glamour.
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, I went to the wall to like go find you or whatever, but then I decided to turn around.
Yeah, which is actually, like, if you think about it, like, not Daniel Nesta or anything, it's just like, that's actually a really sweet thing for her to do, to be like, I have to find my sister.
Yeah.
When she... Like,
that was probably the most sisterly thing that she'd ever done for Faye, but then she, like, the author, like, squanders that and, like, goes into a weird, different direction.
Yeah.
And then it just doesn't even matter.
Yeah. A lot of this book doesn't matter. For being honest.
So much. I'd say an entire book in this series doesn't matter. Like, you could just skip it and not read it and be good.
Yeah. So she goes back.
So they get to the mountain.
Yeah. She goes back and her maid's like, I'll take you to the mountain, under the mountain. This is where you have to go.
Because they've all been, everyone's kidnapped. Everyone's under this mountain. Most of the important people of this court, of the different courts, have been under this mountain for the past 50 years because Amarantha kidnapped them.
Yeah. So it's like, what is it, like Lucian's dad's down there, several of the courts are down there. Is it all the courts?
The nobility of the courts, yeah. I don't think it's like every one of them, but it's like the nobility, certainly.
Yeah, because the whole point of it was Amarantha was like, we're gonna have a ball and
trap them all.
Yeah. Trapped them down there. How did Tamlin escape?
Tamlin didn't. Tamlin didn't escape.
Did he not show up? Why were they wearing the masks? I can't remember.
They were there with the masks on them, but Amarantha did the curse and was like, I'll let all of these people go if you can find someone to love you.
Oh, yeah.
Years.
God. There's so much going on, I forgot the whole reason.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense if she's so fucking obsessive.
Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't she just
like
keep
Reese under her control, who can control people's minds. So then she should have just been able to be like, you're mine now. It's like, what's... It was very stupid.
Maybe she
very
like
convoluted.
Playing with her food situation.
She just wanted this like Beauty and the Beast thing.
Yeah.
So they're under the mountain. It's awful. She has to go through trials. Because she makes a deal with Amarantha, being like, okay, well, if I can beat your trials, then you'll let Tamlin go.
Yeah. Honestly, best part of the book, though. I think I had the most fun reading about Under the Mountain.
Yeah, it was the most fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was being, like, tortured all the time. It's like, we wanted her to be tortured sexually, but physically.
Yeah, I'll take it. Like...
I'll take it.
It's suffering, so...
I was pretty bored with the books at this point.
Yeah.
I picked these books up because I was like, it'll be funny to read like poorly written smut.
Yeah.
It'll be funny. The girlies on TikTok really like this book. It's probably not gonna be that great.
Yeah.
It's gonna have really flowery language about what a penis is.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna laugh and it'll be haha funny. And I was just like sitting there reading this book being like, where's the dick?
Yeah.
Where's the dick? Where's the dick? Why do I have to read about a girl not knowing how to read and having to commit and having to solve a riddle?
Yeah. I will say, though, it was the most locked in I was, because it's like, oh, I'm a 3-trial girly. I love throw 3 trials at her, see if she lives. And it's like, there's a worm. She kills a worm.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
She can't read.
Yeah, this bitch can't read. You have to solve a riddle. You have to read this riddle and solve it.
Oh yeah, the worm. With the worm, she gets like an infection or something because the worm like bit her or something.
Oh yeah.
And Reese is like, I'll heal you, but you have to make a deal with me.
Yeah, which honestly, Toxic King, let's bring him back.
Yeah, he's like, you have to spend a week with me once a month.
Yeah, I was so excited for that.
Yeah, I was excited about that too, because I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a slow burn, like him trying to win her or like steal her away kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was expecting, like, if I was like, okay, so if she decides to go over to Reese, I was expecting it to take like 2 books.
Yeah.
It's like this book has like 5 books in it, and I was like, she's gonna pull this over like multiple books, because why else would there be fucking 5 books about this?
Yeah, it's like they have custody over her and they keep having to change her out every week. Like, That was the whole vibe I
Yeah.
was getting. I was like, oh, this is gonna get crazy because I was like, a lot
I
can
was
happen in
expecting
a
like
week.
a poly thing,
Yeah.
or like a more sexual tension and like a who will she choose kind of thing. Because most of like these books, most of these YA novels about romance, especially ones where there's like 5 books
Yeah.
or like multiple books about it, she doesn't choose anyone until the end.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Right,
like the
she
adventure
chooses-
of choosing is the whole point.
Yeah, exactly. She chooses Tamlin. So she has this like this pact with Rhys, and now he can like speak in her mind, and they have this like bond connected to this deal that they made.
Yeah,
So he can go into her head at any time.
yeah. Which is a
And-
very fun concept. I
Yeah,
know
'cause
it's
you
been
have like
done
little things of
before.
them talking to each other
Yeah.
and being snide.
Yeah, and it's like it's not like some new like thing, but it's like it's a fun writing like to use to kind of like push forward like the relationship. And I was like really into that, but man, it didn't last long, huh? It kind of
No, did not.
Jesus.
So she can't read.
Yep.
And trial number 2 is a riddle that's written down that she has to solve, and she has to pull the right lever or she's gonna die, and all her family's gonna die.
Oh, and Lucian's down there too. And he's panicking because he can't read the riddle because he's too far away. Conveniently.
He's too far away, he can't read it.
Yeah.
She can't read.
She can't
And
read.
then Rhys, bitch can't read.
Yeah.
Bitch ain't got 2 spare fucking brain cells to rub together to read
Yeah.
whatever the fuck is on this wall.
Mm-hmm.
So she's trying to like sound out.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's trying to she's trying to figure out. Rhys figures out she can't read.
Yeah, and it's like the walls are closing in. They're gonna be fucking squished.
And he tells her the answer, and
yeah.
she figures it out miraculously.
And I don't think he actually tells her, but like she touches like the levers, and it's like a
yeah, but
Yeah.
he tells her the answer.
yeah. But it's like a thing where she can feel it, like they're connected. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then so that happens, and it's like all exciting. Some of the Fae are like on her side now, and others are kind
Yeah,
of
there's
just
one
like
trial left. Everyone
Yeah.
thinks they might survive.
yeah. And when they start bringing her out into the court for like their nightly like balls or whatever. Like,
Yeah, because that happened because the week came,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, okay, well, it's your week to be with me now.
Well, no. This was it seemed
Well,
like
this was after they made the deal,
Yeah.
and he said now it was like supposed to be a week. For a week, she would have to be his toy, basically.
I thought he
And
just
he would put her
like
in slutty dresses and paint her body so that if anyone touched her, you could see it.
You're right. I was thinking because it was like every month was a trial. So I was thinking like
Yeah, for
he
a
would,
week.
Yeah, he would bring her out for a day and then like leave her and then bring her out another day. But yeah, that's right. It was like a week. Yeah, and he brought her out and had all these slutty dresses on her and like the paint.
And got her drunk.
yeah.
And
God.
would just have her dance around.
Yeah.
And Tamlin, by the way, Tamlin is by Amarantha's side, and he's kind of just sitting in a chair, not being catatonic.
Yeah.
This entire time, he's been like watching her do all this shit, just sitting in a chair being catatonic, because he knows that if he reacts in any way, that Amarantha is going to torture her more.
Yeah. It was very
Like, and I feel like,
it was very cuck vibey. I was just kind of like, whoa, this is crazy
yeah, I was
right
expecting
now.
something to happen, like
Yeah.
him having to watch like Rhys like fuck her or
Yeah.
something, but it didn't happen.
And just the dancing, the touching, the paint getting all like, you know, ugh. And then they didn't make out, right? They're like, he didn't kiss her.
Well, they
or
made
anything.
out the last night.
Yeah.
Tamlin, the last night before the last trial, because everyone just assumes that they're gonna die.
Oh yeah.
Tamlin goes to find her and starts kissing her.
Super
like, in private,
selfish.
Finds her and kisses her. I don't think it's super selfish, because he doesn't, like, he feels like they're gonna die, and the last thing he wants...
I guess, yeah, circumstance-wise, but
Like, it depends on... It's one of those things where it depends on the type of person you are. Like, what Faye wants is, like, a grand gesture of, like, trying to, like, having him die and then having her get fucking tortured to death. And what he wants is just fucking kiss the person he's in love with.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's one of those things where I don't think either of them is necessarily wrong.
Yeah. I could agree with that.
One's being painted to be wrong.
Yeah.
And Rhys catches them, and then he makes Tamlin leave, and then he starts kissing her.
Because Amarantha.
Because Amarantha immediately bursts in and then finds them together, and so then, you know, Tamlin doesn't get fucking killed, and everyone doesn't fucking die.
Just...
And the last trial was really fucked up.
Oh, yeah. The last trial. So when it started, that chapter, I thought that Amarantha was going to bring out Elaine and Nesta and her dad. You know, when she was like, all right, this is the final trial. And she brings out the like 3 people that have like the knapsacks over their head. And I really thought, I was like, holy shit, she's going to have to kill her family.
I was expecting it too.
Yeah,
that's what I thought too.
I was excited. I was like, oh, this is going to be fucked up. And
yeah, I was expecting it to be fucked up too, but her author brain was like, no,
yeah,
I can use them.
There was a lot of times that she could have taken risks and she just didn't take them. And that would have been a really fun risk to take. Because imagine if Feyre goes up there, she pulls it off, it's Elaine. She has to kill Elaine. She pulls off, it's Nesta. She has to kill Nesta. And then she goes to the next one and it's her dad. It's just like, how insane that would be.
That would be so fucked up.
Yeah.
That would have been so good.
Yeah, it would have been.
What you need to understand is that we stan a toxic king or queen.
Yeah.
We like toxicity.
We want
like, that's
problems
what I
constantly. Constant problems.
Instead, it was just like 3 quote unquote. It was like, it was 2 random fairies, and she just like fucking had to stab them in the heart, and it was very graphic the way she described, more graphic than the sex scene.
Yeah,
the sex scene that happened.
I was kind of taken aback.
Having to like describing what they look like, having to look into their eyes, how they were reacting to it. One of them was like pleading and begging her not to. The other one was saying a prayer and telling her to do it.
I think like she even described like going through the flesh and like
what it felt like to stab them.
Yeah, like, and I was just like, wow, this is like, I wasn't expecting this from you, girl. This is crazy. And so like,
yeah, it was fucked up, but not as fucked up as we wanted.
Yeah, but it was like, I'll take what I can get kind of situation. Like, okay, this is pretty good. Would have been better if it was her family, but whatever. So,
and then the last hood, she knew who it was gonna be. Yeah. She was like, you know what, I know who it's gonna be. And then it was fucking Tamlin, and she's staring Tamlin in the eyes, and she's supposed to stab Tamlin and kill Tamlin in order to free the court.
Yeah.
But, I guess... So, I guess it was, like, hinted several times in the book that his heart is made of stone or something.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't... If it was me... If it was me, I wouldn't have fucking put that two and two together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have figured it out. So it was just a little bit like, okay.
Yeah. I thought it was weird the first time I read it, where it's like, yeah, his heart's stone. I was just like, okay, whatever.
I thought that was just like him being like cold to love or something.
Yeah, he's very unapproachable, like in the start. He doesn't really know how to even compliment Feyre. He's like, your hair's clean. And it's like, okay. So you just think maybe he just doesn't really court women often, and just...
An autistic king.
Yes, he was giving very much autistic king vibes. Just doesn't know how to talk to girls.
She was like, oh, I get it. His heart is made of stone, so if I stab him, he's not gonna die. And then she stabs him, obviously, and then the fucking knife doesn't go through. She wins, quote unquote wins. And then Amarantha is like, aha, snap your neck.
Yeah. Waist snatch, neck snapped.
Yeah, the Google Doc says waist snatch, neck snap.
Yeah, just so we can...
very much true.
We can remember how iconic that moment was.
It was iconic.
It was kind of iconic.
She just fucking snapped her neck in front of everyone and then she dies.
Yeah, she like throws her around too, like a rag doll. I I was
just fucking killed her.
honestly, very locked in on it. I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
Because she won. She won the trial.
Yeah, she won.
She won the trials, and everyone was supposed to be let go, but she's like, ha, snap.
Mm-hmm. Which, I was excited because I was like, oh man, she's gonna like die. It's gonna be crazy. But no,
I was like, how is this 5 more books?
Yeah.
I knew. I was like, there's no way they're gonna kill her. It's gonna be. I hate it when in books when like death doesn't matter, and and that's a big thing with this series is that if you're a main cast character, you don't die. It doesn't matter. You just don't.
Yeah.
So they all of the fucking lords of the courts are down there, and I guess there's this thing where if you give a little tiny piece of your soul, it has to be the 7 lords of the courts, then she comes back to life. So all of them give her a tiny little piece of their soul, and then she comes back to life, and now she's a fucking fairy. Because of course she is.
Yeah. Which, I mean,
and that's kind of like where the book ends, right?
And it's like, I get it, like turning her into a fairy.
It's more convenient because then she doesn't have to. She's not gonna have like random. She can go out in the woods without a fucking like a low fairy being like, "Let me eat you."
Yeah.
And she can have more time with our sweet, sweet Tamlin.
Yeah.
Immortality.
Our sweet, wonderful Tamlin that sat there the whole time and did nothing. Just sat there stone-faced.
That's another thing where it's like it's written. It's like they're both kind of correct here because he was sitting there and not reacting, being cold, because if he showed an expression or he did anything to help, everyone was fucking dead. He had to make her go through the trials, and he had to fucking watch all that shit, because if he didn't, then you know the only chance that they had of escaping was her doing these fucking trials. So what else was he supposed to do?
Well, you know, the way that Amarantha's written, she seems like the kind of person that would have enjoyed just seeing like the torture. And even if Tamlin tried to do something, I feel like she wouldn't have killed Feyre just yet. You know? There was just some, you know what I mean?
She absolutely would have.
I don't know. I feel like she would have had fun with it. That was at least the impression I had.
If she knew that he loved Faye and that she loved him and all that shit, she absolutely would have tortured. She would have been like found like the worst possible way to torture her in front of him, like they did to that one girl that she gave as her fake name and tortured. And she just remember that she just put her on a rack and tortured her in front of him for fucking hours.
That's pretty metal.
Days even. And that's what she would. That's what she would have done to Faye. That's like what she thought she did to Faye. That's what she did to Faye, technically.
Yeah.
So that's why then she starts like painting Tamlin as this like villain. Yeah. He does things that are bad.
Yeah, he does things that aren't
2.
cool. Yeah, book 2 especially. But I don't think they're as bad enough for her to be like. Everyone gets very like mean girls with him. Like that's all I can explain is like they get very mean girls where they're just like, we hate this guy now. And it's like,
I feel like we should probably save book 2 for another time, but what I'm saying is like he's painted like everything that he's done in book 1 was suddenly, it used to be like romantic and you know, kind and yada yada, and then book 2 happens, and then all of a sudden it's like the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And then it's used to like make him this awful person. Yeah. And then
it's like we have to believe that he's an awful person for us to like move on with the different
they
plot.
couldn't have just because we'll save what happens in book 2 for the next episode, but I honestly it really pisses me off what they did to Tamlin, because I think most of it, like a lot of it he didn't deserve, and then he reacts to how he's being treated, and then he's even more evil because what he did is how he was being treated, and then all of a sudden he's like completely unsavable and has no worth as a living being. Yeah,
I'm behind that 100%. He's not written properly.
Can you tell they broke up? That's book 2. Yeah, and we'll get to that another fucking time.
Book 2, they broke up.
Book 2. Book 2, they break up.
Yeah.
She finds new dick.
Yeah. I think this book could have been improved if we had POV chapters from the start.
Yeah, because they do POV chapters in the other books.
Yeah.
Except for this one.
Yeah. Which is so weird because then we could understand how Tamlin thinks a little better. We could have, like, we don't have to have Rhys as a POV character. Like, he can be mysterious and different for, like, the first book.
Oh, God, honestly, the first book, all I wanted was POV from Rhys.
But
I know they do that for a reason, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
I loved
book 2 Rhys.
Yeah.
Book 1 Rhys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to know what's squirming inside that little fucking head.
Squirm in his head. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
I want to know about the worm squirming in his head.
It's those worm squirms.
Okay, so how would you rate this?
So we have a tier list for these books that we're reading. Totally not against our will.
Totally not against.
Yeah, totally not against our will. We have chosen to do this with our time. We have like your S to F tier. And our S tier is what in the obsessive possessive bullshit. That's what we're looking for.
Meaning that we enjoy it, yes.
That's what we're looking for.
This is what we want. This is what we need. This is what we're here for.
Yeah. And then our A tier is Zaddy, please. And our B tier is it's giving Brittany Broski face. It's kind of
giving Brittany Broski drinking kombucha, not knowing how she feels about it face.
Yeah. So it's like we're on the fence, but we're really liking it. Our C tier is buy it on sale. Our D tier is Zaddy no. E tier, I wouldn't fuck it with a stolen dick. And our F tier is feminism was a mistake. So,
do you have any idea where you want to put book 1 of this series? Because honestly, I'm between B tier and C tier. I think I would put it at B tier personally.
You know, I was thinking
Brittany Broski face.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I feel B tier, but I also feel C tier because I did buy it on sale. So
you did?
Yeah.
You bought?
Yeah. I got it on sale for
you were reading the first book, and then in the middle of the first book, you bought the rest of them. So I feel like
we don't have to bring up past mistakes.
When we're doing our tier list, I have to. Okay. So I feel like for me it's B. For me it's B because I read book 1. I was in the middle of book 1, and then I decided to buy the rest of the books because I could get a bundle. Yeah. There was like a bundle of the books, and it was like I got like 30% off, and then I bought them all.
I think the moment that I decided I was gonna buy the second book was when
was what Rhys?
Yeah.
When Rhys showed up?
Well, yeah. It was specifically when he had her dressed up in that fucking dress and had her getting shit-faced drunk dancing. I went, okay, you've got me.
Here's the rest of them.
Yeah. So then I bought book 2, and halfway through book 2 I got 3, and so on.
I'm putting it at B tier.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
You can put it at C tier if you want to, but I'm putting it at B tier.
I think if we think about it logically, it is B tier. It's Brittany Broski face. It's giving I want more. But
also it's not giving enough, but I also want it to give me less, and then I also am not sure how I feel about this pacing.
Yeah.
There were times where we were reading it like real quick. You can't see it, but I'm snapping my beautiful fingers.
Yeah,
they have a blue manicure on them if you wanna just picture that.
Snap.
And then there were other times where I was just like rolling my eyes as she describes paintings in her head.
Yeah, the painting stuff really just wasn't giving for me.
I would love this series so much more if they just took out her being a painter, because she isn't.
Yeah, not everyone needs a hobby.
I'm tired of everyone pretending that she is.
It's not everyone needs a hobby. You can just be a girl out there surviving in the world, and you can relate to that just as well. Instead of having to tag on
I'd say B
stuff.
tier.
Yeah.
B tier is a good one.
B tier.
And I promise you, dear listener, I promise you, there are 4 other books in this series, and I don't think any of them get S tier for me, but there's definitely one or two of them that get E tier.
Yes.
Or F tier.
Yeah. There's one that I might say is A tier, but
yes, that is certainly.
Yeah, I think I might have to reread
yes.
it to really confirm it, because it might be a B tier still. I don't know. After all the things that have happened so far.
Like this book so far is like it's not quite the high point, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, and it's edited okay. It's not the best.
It's very author's first book.
Yes.
Even though, didn't she write more books before this?
She has like a whole I was gonna say cinematic universe.
Doesn't she have? Yeah, she has an entire cinematic universe.
They all connect.
Listener,
There's like 16
that are
books.
all connected.
They all connect. I think they have like past,
I don't know.
future, whatever.
I don't know if I have the fucking wherewithal in me to read any more of these books.
I don't.
I will read book 6, but I think that's where I tap the fuck out. If 6 is the last book in this series, I'm done.
Yeah, I think so too, especially if it goes in the direction I think it will. I might not even pick up 6, depending on what happens.
If it's more POV of the characters I want it to be POV of,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I don't think it's
I'm just
gonna
like,
go
how
that direction.
I don't even understand what book 6 is gonna. They're probably going to investigate this. Like, they're probably gonna go into this one relationship that didn't get super hashed out, and I know who the pairs it's probably gonna be about, and I'm only interested in one of them.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah. We certainly don't.
I'm just like, how are they going to invent another big bad? They keep every single book has one big bad. It's not like one overarching big bad. It's one big bad per book, and it's very irritating.
Except for the 4th book.
It's got like, it gets like Dragon Ball syndrome a little bit.
Yeah.
Of like ultimate power levels.
Yeah. It's like with Amarantha, I was like wondering, is this gonna be the end of her?
Yeah, how do you top this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was pretty cruel. I think so far out of all the villains, she was probably the most interesting, which is saying a lot.
The book ends like with, she gets brought back to life, they kill Amarantha, and everyone escapes the mountain, and that's the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't really say that yet. Sorry.
We were too pissed about all the other bullshit.
We were too mad.
Yeah.
We were too mad that it wasn't toxic enough. I'm sorry. Can you excuse our behavior real quick?
Please. Well, we promise that we'll be more organized next time. We'll have a timeline. We promise.
Now, sis, would you like to tell people your socials and your Patreon and all that shit?
I'm Honey Von Bunny on Twitter. I'm Honey Von Bunny art on Instagram, and I have a Patreon that's also Honey Von Bunny, where I can draw things for you. Just my humble Twitter, Patreon, and Instagram.
My humble.
Oh my gosh.
2,000 follower Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have 2,000, but
I know. I don't know how many followers.
Okay.
I'm just teasing you.
Okay, bitch.
And then I am Berries and Cream _ Berries and Cream on Twitter, and on Instagram I am _berries _n _cream, and I have a Patreon as well, patreon.com/berries and cream. I sell stickers and pogs. Yes, like those like little cardboard boys from the 90s. I do pogs and I do stickers. Give me your money. You're about to get swatted. The only way to save your dog from getting a fucking pile drived in the snout with an AK-47 is if you give me at least $5 a month.
give
$2 to $5 a month at least.
Yeah, at the very least. It's the least you can do.
This podcast, we decided on a title is APClit.
AP.
So
Cliterature.
APClit. Cliterature. So just tune in next time. We're going to be talking about book 2.
Maybe.
And the fucking shenanigans that happen.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll be more
We'll
organized,
see.
though. We'll have a timeline.
This will be a
It'll
snack.
be fun.
This is a little snack for you.
This is our unorganized, let's get together and just talk.
This is our, we read this book a month and a half ago. What do we remember?
Yeah.
We will do better next series, I promise.
Yeah, there was no remember. I was just like, oh shit, yeah, that did happen, huh? Yeah.
All right, this is us signing off.
Goodbye.